Hey there YouTube, back at the scale garage. Wanted to show off my RC4wd D110 Gelande II long wheelbase kit here. This one was didn't mean to buy this one. I had ordered a cruiser Gelande kit and somebody sent me this one by mistake. So for the price of the cruiser, I got the D110, which is obviously a lot more expensive. And I couldn't pass up the deal. Once I finally talked myself into opening the box instead of sending it back. Then I saw the body, I was like, yeah, I need to build that. You can see this one I've done a little bit to. Most of the mods on the interior. The exterior is pretty much stock. Really nice body. And these are custom made. It's two D90 bodies that they've hacked together to make a four-door out of. And you can see it on the inside. But the exterior of the body was pretty flawless. A few little minor things here and there, but not bad at all. For starters, it did it in Tamiya. Let's say it was dark green and a sprint white. It's kind of a off-white gloss roof. I did all of the chrome in a black, just a satin black, not a flat black, not a gloss black, satin. Painted all the window edges. I don't have an LED kit in this one yet. These only have light buckets for the headlights. All the other lights, you would have to do some pretty heavy mods to actually fit an LED in it. See, this one's got a few scratches on it already. Been driving around the house. Been too dang muddy to get outside with our floods down here in Texas. Let's see. On the tires, it's just got the stock 1.9 RC4wd B-lock wheels. And I did change it to the Dick C-Peck Mud Country. They're a lot wider tire. Not a whole, a little bit taller than the ones that come with it stock. But it fits this body really well. It still doesn't really rub a whole lot. And looks a lot beefier. Front bumper, I've got it's one of the knockoff ones. It's not the RC4wd. It might be the Integy. I bought it used on eBay for like 20 bucks. Couldn't pass up the deal. I had it on the red Hilux back there for a while. It was a little too big for that, but it worked. But it's perfect on here. An RC4wd Warren winch. Mounted the fair leads on the outside. Drilled some holes and put some of their tow hooks. Black grill, black light surrounds. Painted the windshield. I don't like that part about the kit. That's my major gripe about the D90s and D110s. This whole entire piece here is clear. So you've got to practice your masking. Tape off the glass and paint the rest of it to match the body. Turn around here. Let's see. Got the Proline roof rack. It's not the fancy smancy RC4wd or RC Model X metal roof racks. Just the little cheap plastic one. It's like 15 bucks on eBay. I think it looks good. It fits. It holds some of my scale goods. Didn't cost me an arm and a leg. See if I can get that. I'll show you. Got one of my stock tires and wheels, axe, high lift jack, bedroll. Got this little container with some rope, little Rubbermaid container, recycling bin, some tarps, the bedroll. Flip it around here to the back. On the rear, I've got the RC4wd swing out tire carrier. Had to have this. That bumper is just way too nice to not have on here. Dual tank carrier. You can see some of the lights back here, and then, like I said, these are not easy LED installs. You have to drill them out and glue LEDs and paint them from the back, and it's just, I don't have the patience for that just yet. Maybe one day. Let's see. That does swing open. That's really nice bumper. It's good and heavy. This whole truck is pretty heavy. Now the major problem with this kit is it comes with the standard D90 interior kit. So you don't get a back seat. You get the standard sideways facing rear seats for the cargo area, and you get your front bucket seats with console and dash and door panels. Now I've seen lots of people, I've talked to people on forums and stuff, and they hacked two together. I couldn't find any. RC4wd Drive was sold out as always, what they are with everything, just about sold out. So I couldn't find another D90 kit to try and hack together. So I went ahead and I got 4 Wraith seats from the Wraith, Axial Wraith. They're pretty exact scale match. This is my second go at the interior here. I'll pull the body off here in a second to show you. I ended up building most of the interior from scratch. I cut the factory seats out of the front. I used the floor pan, the door panels, the armrest, and then from everything there back is all just custom built out of styrene. This truck does get a pretty good flex. You get the long arms for the rear, shorter drive shaft. Just an extended D90. I do like the adjustable coilover shocks, because you do need to adjust it every time I add something to it. Put the interior in, I had to crank the coils down. The bumper on, I had to crank the coils down. Roof rack, etc. It's a heavy truck, but it gives you very realistic body roll. I mean, that thing just shakes back and forth when it crawls over stuff. I'll go ahead and pull this off here. Now the dash is attached, and one of the door panels are attached to the body. You can kind of see the dash there. That is a Tamiya brown paint. Not sure what exact shade. I don't think I have a can anymore. My interior, you can see the front half here was the RC4wd Drive D90 interior, and I cut around the seats, cut the seat bases out, and just used a sheet of styrene and made the rest of it from scratch. And it's built up a little bit in the back, try to help fit into the windows properly. The Wraith seats have actual bolt holes on the bottom, which is a lot better than the RC4wd Drive seats, which you either have to glue or tape, because they're hollow on the bottom. There's not a whole lot of options for attachment. You got the stock front floorboard. I had to leave the rear floorboard raised because of my electronics location, so I'll get to that here in a minute. But I added, this is sticky back felt paper, or felt sheets you can get at Walmart. I think it makes decent floor mats. It's not, from looking at it inside the body, you can't really see. I went ahead and did the floor green. Make it look like it was, paint matched interior metal. All this is scratch built styrene. Tried to add some reinforcements to it because it is quite flexible. And there's quite a bit of under supports. Just scrap pieces of styrene I had, glued them down. Kind of a rear gate. I did got a Proline, or not Proline, but one of the scale brands igloo cooler. Did screw that down to it. I was pretty happy with the interior. This was my first real experience with styrene, and went pretty well. So I've been venturing more into that lately, building more out of styrene from scratch. Move on to the chassis. The biggest difference, and part of the reason I did the interior the way I did, is you have this space back here made into the chassis where they want you to put your electronics, your receiver in the box, ESC, and that plate, nothing I had to reach there. And I'm not big on soldering, so I wanted everything kind of where it would reach, as far away from the motor in the front as it would go. So I ended up swapping out with my Trailfinder 2 chassis, the battery plate. The D90 is just a plate for the battery only. The horseshoe shaped one is off the Trailfinder 2. And it fit pretty well. I've got the standard RC4wd Outcry ESC, BEC, Spectrum SR300. I've got a Spectrum 3-channel controller that I use for most of my rigs. Other than that, drivetrain's pretty much stock. I've got a 65-turn RC 4-wheel drive motor. Somehow with the gearing in here it works really well. I still get a decent amount of axle speed. Standard RC 4-wheel drive servo, I don't know what they call those. It's metal geared. It's not super crazy. I don't have the winch hooked up yet. I'm kind of tight when it comes to winch controllers. None of my trucks have working winches. Just got a 5,000 milliamp stick pack. Got the RC 4-wheel drive inner fender kit. It's alright. I mean, it's Lexan. I'm not a big fan of Lexan at all, but it works. I was really happy with the Yoda 2 axles. I've got a Bruiser Ruptor I'm working on. I'll do a video on here soon. And these Yoda 2 axles are much, much better. I mean, for one, the Yoda 1 axles had a tremendous amount of steering slop, which these still have quite a bit. But compared to the Yoda 1s, these are night and day. It's just much improved. And they're just narrower. These are on par with the K44 axles. They're much more scale, a little narrower diameter. You can change out the front plates. They've got their ARB diff lock cover, so you look like you have custom axles. It's just a little bit better design. Just, you know, it's the second incarnation of the Yoda axle. Of course, it's going to be improved over the first. Standard single speed transmission. I'm not a huge fan of the 2 speeds. I just don't really drive much. I'm more of a builder than a driver. That rear bumper, nice and solid, has the factory body mounts for the D110 body to lock into. You don't really have to put screws in there. You push it on there, they kind of snap back into place, and you've got your body post to really hold it into place. Got the same spare tire on the back as I do on the roof, just the standard, what do they call it, dirt grabbers. Looks like an old BFG all-terrain. Like I said, no light kit on this one yet. I'll get something in there eventually, but for now this is more of a showpiece than a driver. I have been considering building a course. I do have a little bit of room on my property. Pop that back on there. Yeah, this is a very expensive kit. I don't know what would make someone really want a D110 over a D90. And a $200 price difference. It's quite a lot to take in. Like I said, I got a deal on mine by accident. Couldn't pass it up. It's a cool looking truck. And it's very scale the way it drives, just due to its weight of the body and the interior. It really has a lot of body roll. Not the greatest crawler, but for a trail truck, it's perfect. But anyway, that's the RC 4-wheel drive D110. Keep an eye on my channel. I'll have some more videos up here before too long. Thanks for watching.